S.E. Hinton was just 16 years old when she wrote The Outsiders, yet she already understood something it takes most a lifetime to learn, that the things you love most have a way of disappearing before you can even think to hold on to them. The novel follows Ponyboy Curtis, a greaser on the wrong side of town who has to navigate through rival gangs, violence, and the slow loss of innocence. At its core, it is a story about a group of boys who have nothing but each other, and through conflict watch that world crack apart. The emotional center of the book for me has always been Johnny. Quiet and gentle, Johnny is able to see beauty where no one else can. In his final moments, he turns to the words of American poet Robert Frost, telling Ponyboy with his last breath to stay gold. The line comes from a Frost poem about how nothing gold can stay, how the most beautiful things are often the most temporary. Hinton builds her entire novel around this idea. When Ponyboy loses Johnny, he loses the version of his life that made him feel safe. Once deprived of this stability, he has to figure out how to carry that loss forward. Over the years, I found that the strange thing about great books is that they grow with you. When I first read The Outsiders, I loved the loyalty of it, how these friends would do just anything for each other. I took from it what I could at the time. I understood the book then, but only on the surface. After all, there's a difference between understanding something and living inside it. I didn't live inside this book until 3 years ago when my grandfather Jacob El-Khayyam had suffered a stroke. Jacob was someone I oriented myself around. I viewed him as a steady presence in my life, someone who could always be there for me, and someone I could always look up to. Then, one Thursday morning, I was met with the devastating news that he had suffered a stroke and was in fact lucky to be alive. The stroke left him unable to speak, control his body, or fully understand what was happening around him. I visit him now and I talk, but there is a helplessness in not always knowing what gets through to him. It is a strange feeling of grief to mourn someone who still is alive. Going back to The Outsiders helped me understand this grief. Ponyboy loses Johnny and the world as he knew it, and through this trauma, he has to learn how to live inside a new one. What Hinton is really asking, through Johnny's last words, is whether you can honor what was gold about someone by carrying it forward within yourself. She's essentially asking us to consider whether love can survive the form it used to take. I now realize that there are things you can only understand in retrospect. It wasn't until Jacob lost his voice that I could finally hear everything he had been saying. Ponyboy didn't understand what he had until Johnny was gone. Neither did I. The difference is that Hinton gave Ponyboy a pen and paper to write his story down. This is mine. Stay gold, Jacob. Stay gold.